Hi, I am Daniela Contreras Pavia, a Tech Millennium student studying Contemporary World in 5th semester. And now I am going to talk about the Cold War. The defining characteristic of the Cold War of this period was the rivalry between two world superpowers that dominate the world by the end of the World War II, the United States and the United Soviet Socialist Republic. During the Cold War, there exist many important dates. For me, some important dates were May 8 of 1945, the VE Day is the victory in Europe. August 6 of 1945, the US dropped a bomb on Hiroshima. August 8 of 1945, the US dropped a bomb on Nagasaki. June 5th of 1947 was the Marshall Plan. In 1949, found of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. June 1950 was the Korean War. And October 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis. The term Cold War refers to the state of conflict between nations that does not involve direct military action, but is pursued primarily through economic and political actions. This term is most commonly used to refer to the Soviet American Cold War that we know. How each economic system works. The socialism is a system of production where goods and services are produced directly for use. It is the contrast of the capitalism. It is based on public or collective ownership of the means, production which can be named equality. The means of production, such as money, are owned by the state or public. Here, everyone works for health that is in turn distributed to everyone. And important people who began this economic system was Marx. Another economic system is the capitalism. It's when goods and services are produced to generate profit. Here you work for your own wealth. They exist to make money, and all companies have owners and managers. Means of production are owned by private individuals. An important person who began this movement was Adam Smith. Now I want to know the opinion of more people about the Cold War. That's why I interviewed one person who was very informed on the topic. This person is my grandfather, Humberto Pavia, that has 67 years old. He is going to tell us his opinion about the Cold War. A very important note here is that he doesn't speak English, so he answered me in Spanish and I translated. Now I'm going to read the question and the answer in English with my voice. The first question was, what countries were the world leaders during this period? And the answer was, mainly the two countries that led the world during this time were the Soviet Union and the United States. It is worth mentioning that each of these countries had their allied countries. The second question was, why did countries who were allies during the wars become enemies afterwards? And the answer was, for me, in my understanding, it was because the US never helped the necessary to the Soviet Union when they were fighting against Germany. Also because Stalin believed that the British and Americans want Russia to destroy itself fighting Germany, and the USA and Britain had fought 6 years fighting Germany. They did not want to see another dictator take control over Europe. The third question was, where did the Cold War take place? And the answer was, we can say that almost everywhere on the globe, but mainly part of the entire war was in Europe, in some main areas. The fourth question was, what opinion did the general public have of the Cold War? The answer was, many people who read and know about this war think that was a very difficult war with many different ideas, but at least at the end of the war they reached an agreement for how to organize society. The fifth and last question was, what type of weapons did the two world powers have at their disposal? And the answer was, I would not know exactly what to answer to that question, but I could say that the US developed the nuclear fission and hydrogen bomb during this time, and later also the Soviet Union produced its own nuclear weapons. And that's how the Cold War took place in our world. In my opinion, the Cold War that started in the ending of the World War II was a political, economic, social, military, scientific confrontation between the Occidental led by the US and the East led by the Soviet Union, in which each side had their country's allies. For me, the important or more relevant here is that each side or team has its own system, where the US were the capitalist system country and the Soviet Union were the socialist system country. For me, each economic system works in its own shape. My opinion about the two economical systems, socialism and capitalism, is that both of them are very important for a country to grow because both of them have good things and bad things. So socialism is a good idea because the government report the same things to all the citizens. So this is equality. But the capitalism is also fair because you work for your own money. But sometimes this is unfair because some workers doesn't receive what they deserve. So also these have good things and bad things, but these both of them economical system are very important for a country to grow.